Everyone, thanks for joining us on the news briefing for this Wednesday. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm hoping that we have Marielli Carty with us from SBA, who can give us an update on what's happening at the Resource Center in Pajaro. Good afternoon, Marielli.
Hello, Maya. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here.
Of course, as always. Okay, let's start. Wait a minute for me. Okay, we're here. Okay, so before starting with the SBA numbers at Pajaro Middle School, it's always good to remember that the DRC at Pajaro Middle School remains available to provide disaster recovery assistance to the communities affected by the disaster. So the DRC is still open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. No appointment is necessary to receive the assistance. So if you know anybody who still need the assistance, please remember to always inform the community about the DRC. And thank you so much for always helping us to distribute the information. Okay. So now let's talk about numbers. Okay, for the Monterey County, we have received 51 home loans applications, and we have received 48 business loan applications, and we have approved more than $2.6 million. We have received 1,398 FEMA referrals for both home and business owners, and I will be putting that information in this chat. Okay, Maya, I will do the same in Spanish, okay? Okay. Bien importante, siempre es importante mencionar que el Centro de Recuperación de Desastres DRC está en Pajaro Middle School, que sigue disponible para brindar la asistencia a todas las personas afectadas por el desastre. Así que es importante que recuerden que el centro está abierto de martes a sábado, desde las 10 de la mañana hasta las 6 de la tarde. No es necesario hacer una cita, así que es importante que sigamos, ¿verdad?, informando a las comunidades de que este centro sigue abierto y que va a estar abierto hasta nuevo aviso, en el caso, ¿verdad?, de que las comunidades lo sigan necesitando. Ahora vamos a hablar un poco, ¿verdad?, de los números que hemos recibido en el condado de Monterrey. Hemos recibido 51 aplicaciones de hogares, hemos recibido 48 aplicaciones de negocios y hemos aprobado más de $2.6 millones. Bien importante mencionar, entre las dos, tanto las aplicaciones de hogares como las aplicaciones de negocio, hemos recibido 1,398 referidos de parte de FEMA. Así que voy a poner esta información en el chat para beneficio de todos. Cualquier duda o pregunta, estoy a la orden. Thank you, Maya. That'll be all for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And as always, thank you for being here and telling us what is happening at Pajaro and making sure everybody knows about the services at the DRC.
Thank you so much.
I am hoping that Ray Cancino from Community Bridges will join us. I don't see him here on the call, but that means that we can go even sooner to Paul Farmer and the Monterey County Business Council. I hope, Paul, that I'm sorry, I'm going to call you a little early, but the Monterey County Business Council has agreed to join us today. They have been doing some terrific outreach throughout the county, but also in Pajaro, and they have a great workshop coming up to help small businesses understand ADA compliance. So I really appreciate you, Paul, joining us today to talk about what you've got going on.
All right. Thank you, Maya. A little bit of introduction. So my name is Paul Farmer. I'm the COO for MCBC, and I'm the leader of the Building Business Back program, which is a partnership between the County of Monterey and MCBC to help businesses throughout Monterey County to recover from the pandemic. Before I talk about the workshops that we have coming up, I just want to let everybody know that we were helping with direct outreach to businesses throughout the county, including in Pajaro, before the floods, building relationships with people, helping them know about different grants, loans, other resources that are available to them. So we worked very closely with the county and Supervisor Church's office when they were putting together different programs to assist the businesses affected in Monterey County. So we are focused on businesses, not residences particularly. We also are announcing that we are going to be doing satellite hours in different locations, including Pajaro. And I'll give you a little bit more information about that toward the end of my time. What we do then is serve as a gateway for businesses in Monterey County to understand resources that are available to them. We have a website at montereycountybusiness.com, which gathers that information and puts it together in one place. All of our information is available in English and in Spanish. Our website is completely translated, and our staff is completely bilingual en español. So we're happy to meet with businesses and talk to them about what their challenges are and refer them to our partners that include the Small Business Development Center and many other organizations that can assist them. Now, we also do a series of workshops throughout the year that are free to businesses in Monterey County. They are all translated into Spanish or interpreted into Spanish, and they're all available in person at different locations throughout the county, and then also available by Zoom. They're linked. The recordings of past workshops are available on our website at montereycountybusiness.com. Now, we have an upcoming workshop that we wanted to share with you, and that's about lawsuits to small businesses related to the Americans with Disabilities Act. So before I tell you exactly about that workshop, I want to share a little bit of additional information about the size of this problem within the country, and particularly in Monterey County. So some statistics about the ADA and claims that have been filed. There were 2,519 ADA claims filed in California last year alone. And California has racked up over 33,000 claims since the ADA law was passed in 2013. There are some law firms that dedicate themselves solely to filing ADA claims against businesses. And there are some of them that are very prolific, including one called Potter Handy. Each year, Potter Handy uses ADA and UNRU lawsuits to shake down hundreds or even thousands of small businesses to pay it cash settlements, regardless of whether the businesses actually violated the ADA. That's according to the LA County DA, George Gascon, and the San Francisco City and County DA in April 2022. These serial ADA plaintiff lawyers recognize that the justice gap makes small businesses even more likely to settle cases quickly and without prolonged litigation. A routine ADA lawsuit can cost between $50,000 to $100,000 to defend, which means, again, small businesses don't have little choice but to settle for a smaller amount. And in Monterey County, we're no stranger to these ADA lawsuits. Since July 5th, 2022 through September 1st, 2022, a gentleman named Orlando Garcia has sued 13 small businesses in Salinas. We're talking about shops, bakeries, laundromats, other small businesses. This person, Orlando Garcia, is a serial ADA plaintiff. You can look up on the Monterey County Superior Court website. There are dozens of claims by this person, a number of which are still pending. We will talk about this during the workshop and ways that, what is it that they look for? How much is it they try to get out of businesses? What might a business be able to do to prevent this type of lawsuit or to respond to it once it happens? Now, fortunately, if there's any positive side of this stuff, the legislators recognize that this is just a shakedown of small businesses, and there is some legislation going through the California legislature right now to aid businesses in this. Senate Bill 585, authored by Senator Niello, would prohibit construction-related accessibility claims from being started until a business has been served with a letter specifying each alleged violation and given 120 days to correct the alleged violation. So what really happens is they'll get a notice of demand and they'll try to settle for an amount that's small, that it's small enough for a business owner probably to be able to pay it, but not so much that they want to fight it. So they've basically made a cottage industry out of this. The ADA workshop that we will be doing is hosted in collaboration with the local respected law firm Fenton and Keller with attorney Bradley Levang. It's going to be on Thursday, July 20th from 2 to 3 p.m. in the community shared space at the Barnyard Shopping Center in Carmel by the Sea. Remember, it is a hybrid workshop, so it's also available in Zoom, and it will be interpreted into Spanish on Zoom. We previously held one of these ADA workshops in Spanish back in March in collaboration with JRG attorneys and attorney Stephen Barber to help identify what business owners in the Suba district of Salinas could do to help resolve these issues. So that's a bit about that particular workshop. You can register for that workshop, again, at MontereyCountyBusiness.com. I've also mentioned that we are starting to do our outreach in Pajaro, in King City, in Monterey, in Soledad. Our staff will be out there 1 day per month. We'll have the details with the locations and the times and the dates on our website, or you can reach out to our program at 831-216-3000. But we basically want to be closer to where our clients are so that they don't have to travel to our office in Salinas if they're seeking help, again, with grants, with loans, other resources. Some of the cities have put together programs for small businesses that may have a grant of $2,500 or things like that. So we're out there researching that information, putting it together, and on the streets working with people so that they can apply for those funds. So that's it for us today. That's our upcoming workshop and a little bit more about what we're doing in Pajaro and throughout Monterey County. So again, we want to thank the county for our partnership, and any questions we're happy to answer. Thank you, Mike.
Oh, thank you so much. And I know I see you have, do you have a member of your staff on with you who might be able to share some of this information in Spanish for our Spanish language media?
Oh, well, sure. And I mean, I can let him talk, pero yo también hablo español. So I'll go ahead and say it in Spanish.
You too. Just want to make sure we hit everyone.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So Jesús, ¿me puedes corregir si hablo mal? Me llamo Paul Farmer, yo soy el COO del Monterey County Business Council. Estaba hablando sobre los recursos que nosotros podemos proveer para la comunidad de negociantes en el condado de Monterey. Nuestro programa fue formado para ayudar a los negocios a recuperarse de la pandemia, pero durante las inundaciones y todo, hemos estado ayudando a los negocios también saber cuáles recursos están disponibles para ellos, si sean préstamos de bajos intereses, si sean otros recursos o también grants que no tienen que repagar. Nosotros anunciamos que estamos trabajando en las comunidades de Pájaro, King City, la ciudad de Monterey y Soledad, que nuestro equipo estamos ahí presentes por lo menos un día al mes para ayudar a los negociantes que tengan preguntas sobre, pues tienen una necesidad con su negocio y no saben cómo comenzar o cuáles recursos están disponibles para ellos. Nuestro equipo es completamente bilingüe. Entiendo que a veces se me traba la lengua, pero estamos ahí para ayudar a la gente y tenemos muchos socios en el condado de Monterey que también pueden ayudar a accesar fondos para su negocio o sea lo que sea el problema. Estamos ahí para ayudar a los negociantes. Aparte de todo eso, hablamos sobre una clase que vamos a tener próximamente que habla de las demandas que algunos abogados les ponen a los pequeños negocios. Y estas demandas se enfocan en lo que se llama el ADA, lo cual fue una ley para ayudar a la accesibilidad para personas que necesitan ayuda para andar en silla de ruedas o lo que fuera. Pero lo que pasa es que estos abogados se están aprovechando de los pequeños negociantes y ponen una demanda y dicen, no, si nos pagan $10,000 o lo que fuera, entonces quitan la demanda. Pero los pequeños negociantes no saben, pues, si eso es de verdad, cuáles son sus derechos, cómo pueden reaccionar. Entonces, nosotros estamos dando una clase sobre este problema que ha afectado a muchos negocios en el este de Salinas, en el Alisal. Ha habido como 13 pequeños negocios, como panaderías, lavanderías, cosas así, que les llegan una demanda diciendo que tienen que pagar X cantidad o si no, que van a estar en la corte. Y estos abogados lo que hacen es tratan de sacar como $10,000 o lo que pueden sacar del negocio. Y es un problema bastante grande en todo el país y en el condado de Monterey también nos pasa. Entonces estamos dando una clase el día 20 de julio de este mes, es un jueves a las 2 de la tarde en Carmel, pero también si la comunidad hispana quiere asistir a la clase, también lo pueden hacer por Zoom y está interpretado al español también. Anteriormente hicimos esta clase en el este de Salinas y tuvimos como 25 personas y muchos negocios que estaban diciéndose, eso me afectó y yo tuve que pagar tanto. Entonces, lo que nosotros queremos hacer es informar a los negociantes del condado de Monterey para que sepan del peligro, cómo es que lo hacen, porque muchas veces usan la computadora nada más para ver el local y si tienen espacios para estacionar un carro por handicap y cosas así. Entonces, ¿cómo es que uno se puede proteger de antemano? O si le llega una de estas demandas, ¿qué es lo que se puede hacer? Vamos a estar hablando de todo eso en el día 20 de este mes y es gratuito. Ustedes pueden inscribirse en el sitio web de nosotros, montereycountybusiness.com. Está completamente traducido al español el sitio de nosotros. Hay una bandera en la parte de arriba del sitio y lo pueden cambiar al español. Yo creo que he hablado sobre todo lo que dije en inglés también, más o menos. So, Maya, I think I kind of covered it. I cut my tongue up a couple times there, but I think I got the gist of it across. Jesus, did I pipe in if I missed anything, Jesus? Otherwise, I think Maya was good.
Boy, I think you did too, and I followed along barely. And really, I sure appreciate you giving that twice. I know that's not what you signed up for, but it really, we really want to make sure that people know that your upcoming Zoom is for them, no matter what language they speak, or no matter what language they're comfortable learning in. And if it's easier to listen in Spanish, then so be it. And go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me add one other thing that we've been working on, Maya, and now we're finishing the translation into Spanish. But that was we've been working with Richard Vaughn from the County of Monterey, the Economic Development Manager, on putting together a guide to all of the state resources that are available and federal resources. So we've put together a guide that we will have on our website very soon, and we're finishing the translation of that into Spanish as well. So we make a very concerted effort. Everything we do in English, we also do in Spanish. And Jose Luis dropped the link into the chat box. Thank you for that, Jose Luis.
Fantastic project on that. Really great. And thank you. Any questions for Paul or Jose Luis before we let them go? Well, I think you hit all the fine point and hit the nail on the head and all the fine points too.
All right. Thank you so much, Maya.
Thank you very much, Paul. And now we're going to go back to Ray Cancino from Community Bridges. He was unable to join us. Community Bridges has opened a temporary resource center in Pajaro to help with the case management work that they've been doing there. And Ray is going to tell us about how that work is going and who is being helped. Hi, Ray. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again. Apologies for not being here right at noon. But yeah, we are excited to let everyone know that we have opened up our location as of July 5th in Pajaro. The location is 14 Porter Road, and it's right across the street from the gas station. We were waiting for the building to be repaired, obviously, because it suffered damage itself, but we were able to find a nice location for a couple of offices there. The primary goal of that location will be to provide long-term case management to the families impacted as a result of the flood, and those impacted and continuously working on either FEMA applications, denials, ongoing rehousing needs, and opportunities to kind of get settled back into Pajaro or to Monterey or Santa Cruz County. We have obviously been working with partners in this, one of them being Monterey County, and have a short-term contract with them to provide the support for shelter residents that are still displaced in local hotels. And so we've been working with those 65 plus households to find a relocation plan to get them back into housing and to hopefully get them through the process of rebuilding. That has been our primary work with our collaborative partner, Catholic Charities, who's actually the statewide contracted nonprofit that organizes all case management in relation to disaster. And so working with them in partnership at this location in Pajaro will allow us to have direct access to clients as people return home, but also to ensure that we are able to continue our efforts of continuing to provide philanthropic dollars to those members that have not necessarily or potentially received funding from other sources. And so to date, we've distributed over $1.3 million across the collaborative. Community Bridges has distributed over $1.1 million, which includes over $180,000 of Monterey County funds, the majority of it coming from private philanthropy in terms of what we've been able to distribute and direct towards the disaster. At this point in time, Community Bridges' staff is available Monday through Friday from 9 to 12 and 1 to 4:30. The other coordinating times, and that is Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Monday, Wednesday, we have our partners from Catholic Charities using the space as well. So it's fully activated and being co-shared with Catholic Charities and our partner from Monterey County as well. And so we just wanted to let the community know that they can stop by, answer any questions about what their current situation is in terms of both FEMA, but also for philanthropic support or other resources and needs. We will be, obviously, we have just completed our phase 2 distribution of funding, which means all households that had a yellow or red tag, additional funding support, and are now transitioning into what we call the long-term recovery group, unmet needs group. And those are folks that are still in the repair, redevelopment of their locations and of their houses that are short because of insurance and or FEMA support. And so we're there to support them in that rebuilding process as well. And so that has started to occur as well. So I can do it in Spanish or I can wait and allow people to ask questions at this time.
I think it would be terrific if you could do it in Spanish, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Perfect. Gracias, bienvenidos, y disculpe que estaba aquí un poquito tarde a través de las 12 para darle esta información que tenemos un centro de recurso nuevo en Pájaro que abrimos en la calle Porter. La dirección es 14 Porter Road en Pájaro. Está a través de la gasolinería ahí enfrente. Tenemos allí recursos y tenemos trabajadores sociales que andan trabajando. El horario es de las 9 a 12 y de 1 a 4:30 de lunes a viernes. Nuestra agencia de Puentes de la Comunidad está disponible el martes, el jueves y el viernes. El lunes y el miércoles tenemos recursos allí de Caridades Católicas, que no es nuestra agencia que andamos manejando los casos en conjunción o en colaboración con ellos. Ellos están también disponibles en ese horario y estamos allí para ayudar a la gente de Pájaro que todavía no han regresado, y también la gente que está en el proceso de FEMA o está en proceso de SBA o está en proceso de fincar o de reparar su hogar, o si todavía necesita ayuda. También sabemos que no toda la gente ha recibido ayuda o apoyo durante de la inundación y tenemos la oportunidad también de ver en dónde está su caso o en qué pasó con su caso. A este punto ya hemos distribuido 1.3 millones de dólares a través de las familias afectadas de pájaro. Nosotros hemos usado el mapa del condado de los hogares que eran afectados a través de inundación, personas que recibieron lo que le dicen marcas rojas o amarillas a través de su hogar que han visto daño o han sido inspectados a través del condado de Monterrey. Esas personas eran las personas que recibieron nuestro segundo paso de asistencia. También las personas que eran afectadas de que no pueden regresar a su hogar o que viven en Pájaro han podido recibir otro tipo de recursos en la primer round. Ese primer paso era dinero también para personas que eran afectadas. A este tiempo ya estamos en el tercer ola de asistencia. Esa tercera ola de asistencia va a ser para las personas que siguen en situaciones que no han podido reparar su hogar o no han podido regresar a su hogar a través de los daños y que no han recibido suficiente asistencia a través de sus aseguranzas o a través de FEMA o a través de SBA. Entonces estamos ahí disponibles para poder ayudar a la gente en su lengua nativa y también para ayudarles en el sentido de durante este proceso. Sabemos que todavía hay mucha gente que no ha resolvido sus casos y tenemos también la asistencia de las personas todavía afectadas en los hoteles en nuestra comunidad y andamos ayudando en esos casos que son 65 personas a través de, o 65 hogares que todavía son afectadas. Entonces estamos ahí para ayudarles y estamos disponibles y este va a ser un centro de recursos por un año. Eso es lo que hemos nosotros hecho para a través de ayudar a la comunidad de Pájaro, sabiendo que los otros recursos locales como Casa de la Cultura falleció de también tener daños. Entonces no hay ahorita otro recurso que pueda ayudar durante el tiempo que tenemos allí. Entonces eso es lo que hemos tenido la oportunidad. I did fail to mention in English, this is a one-year temporary resource center. It is to help with the recovery efforts during the time as a result of other nonprofits that have been operating there not having a space because they themselves have been affected. Other wonderful partners that have been servicing that community for well over 30 years, like Casa de la Cultura. And so we see this as a temporary solve to address kind of the immediate needs and to help the recovery efforts because our work, I know, is long-term. And so we're committed to providing that center there for a year, or as unless there's funding additional dollars that come through that will keep us there longer. But that is our current commitment to what we're envisioning there for Pajaro.
Thank you very much. And that is really great news, I think, for that community, especially with organizations that people there are familiar with, that they know and they trust them to get assistance from them. What are you finding are the greatest needs when people are coming to you or you're meeting with people who are currently in shelters, in the sheltering program? I think people in the sheltering program are looking for a place to live, but there are many other needs that residents have.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's just a catch-22 that we have. The majority of our residents, are renters. And unfortunately, the way our system is set up in terms of disaster recovery funding, it doesn't really help the renter and or the landlord. Basically, on what they consider secondary homes or rental properties, FEMA stays out of that business, and the only other option then is a not very cost-effective SBA loan. So you have landlords that are in situations that are having to juggle their own mortgage on top of maybe potentially taking on another mortgage with an existing rental property. And it really puts a serious issue in terms of our housing affordability and also our housing stock overall. So what we're seeing is a lot of people that are in housing situations that are only able to apply for FEMA, what they call PA or personal assistance, which really only relates to the clothes and the actual physical loss of their own property, but does little, if nothing, actually does zero to address the ongoing needs of the building repair and costs of those repairs. And so we are seeing kind of reduction of affordable housing rentals in the area, which is going to push gentrification. I mean, we have the majority of the placements that we've placed have been all into Salinas and have been all into areas south of Pajaro. Santa Cruz County, as no surprise, is the most expensive in the nation, and we know that as of recent. And so we have not been able to place any resident in Watsonville or even in other parts of Santa Cruz County at this point. Everyone has been migrating south as a result.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for kind of giving us a snapshot of what these residents are going through. I think we think, recovery is happening, but it really is going to be a slow process. Would you say, you're in the trenches working with these residents, this is going to be a slow process for them?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're still dealing with people that were impacted by the CZU fire at this point still in long-term recovery. I mean, this is a 3-year, stretch, unfortunately, for a lot of these families. And we're going to do our due diligence of our learnings and what we've done in those situations to try to get them back on their feet quicker. But we know that there will be situations where because of the nuances of FEMA and support and insurance complications, a lot of these folks won't be able to rebuild and or to return to their homes. We're also finding a lot of situations about code enforcement and the cost of bringing some of these structures up to code, and the reality that that's going to create some financial burdens for both landlords and owners, if their own property to maintain those locations. And so we haven't seen those yet, but those are coming down the line, and they've already been identified in certain situations where homeowners, renters have thought that some extension of their property was actually warranted or permitted, and the county saying it's not. And so what is it going to need to bring them up to code? If it wasn't covered by the insurance, then you're going to have to pay out for that expansion or for that additional upgrade to that code enforcement, which could be a huge sum of money. And it's not like people have extra money to take out further loans or refinance their situation to address some of those costs. And so that's kind of the next hurdle that we'll be facing.
Thank you. Before we let Ray go, are there any questions for Ray, or would any of our Spanish language media like him to repeat any information in Spanish that he just mentioned? No, that was a no. And so it sounds like everybody has what they need. Thank you so much, Ray, for being here and sharing this information with us. And now we're going to go to some really great and happy news. There is a kickoff this weekend for a major expansion and road project in our region. And if anyone who's traveled near Marina or along Imjin Road knows all about this. And this project is going to really transform that area. And we're very pleased to have Marina Mayor Bruce Delgado here to talk about this project. And we've got support for you from TAMC with Theresa, Wright, and then also Edri de Los Santos, also from the city of Marina, here to support you. Hi, Bruce. Thanks very much for joining us.
Hi, Maya. Hi, Theresa. Hi, Edri. Maya, can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
All right, let's see if this works. Do you see the flyer?
Yes, I can.
All right. So I guess I'll just start out in Spanish, then I'll go to English, then I'll turn it over to Edri and Theresa, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Estoy aquí para invitar a todos a nuestro evento inaugural este sábado a la 1:30 de la tarde en la gasolinera Shell en 2700 Imjin Parkway. Vamos a celebrar el inicio de un proyecto de 44 millones de dólares que incluye el reemplazo de 4 semáforos con rotondas, un sendero de recreación fuera de la calle separado, y este proyecto agregará 2 carriles para vehículos motorizados. Este proyecto hará que sea mucho más seguro para la gente de varios barrios caminar, andar en bicicleta o conducir hasta la costa. Los oradores incluirán al senador John Laird y otros dignatarios. So yeah, I'm here to encourage everyone to join our kickoff event this Saturday at 1:30 at Shell gas station on Imjin Parkway at 270 2700 Imjin Parkway. And we're here, we will be there, we're here now, and we will be here on Saturday to celebrate the kickoff to this $44 million project, which is the largest project the city of Marina has ever been the lead on. And it's expensive because it replaces 4 traffic signals with roundabouts. It adds my favorite element, a separate off-street recreation trail, kind of like the rec trail along the coast that goes from Marina to Pacific Grove. And it'll also add 2 lanes for motor vehicles, which will make it much safer for people from several neighborhoods to walk or bike or drive to the coast. And there'll be several speakers, including State Senator John Laird and Supervisor 4th District Wendy Askew and TAMC Chair Mayor Mike Labar from King City. So it's a great project. It's also the largest project that Monterey Peninsula Engineering has ever been involved with. So it's exciting. It'll entail 2 years of construction. So careful what you ask for. You know, there'll be some growing pains here, but we hope that a lot of people can come out and help us celebrate the event.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much for scrolling there. So that way everybody can be sure to get the address and, you know, and the time.
Yeah, so Edri and Theresa, thanks for joining us. You want to add?
Sure, I'll add, and if you don't mind, Bruce, if you can translate for me and Edri as well, that would be great. So first of all, I'm just very excited because this is also a Measure X project, which is why TAMC is a partner on this. It is going to be the second construction project, regional project for Measure X. And what we're excited about is this is one of the projects that was identified by the community that they supported through Measure X to make sure that it happens. So it's an important corridor. We're all excited about this moving forward, but as the mayor said, there will be some growing pains in the process, but the construction team, the project team is here on board. They're making every effort to make sure that the community is kept informed and the progress as we go along, and to ensure that there's always going to be a lane open during construction. So we won't have any concerns about not having accessibility for the community and for the people who are commuting back and forth through this major link between the Salinas Valley and the Monterey Peninsula. So I'm going to stop there and maybe ask the mayor if he wants to translate any of that. You're muted, Bruce.
Sure, just in summary, este es el segundo proyecto pagado por la medida X. Estamos emocionados de hacer este proyecto muy bien y habrá un carril abierto para los 2 años durante de la construcción.
And then if I can just add, there is one more speaker. Assembly member Dawn Addis could not be there, but her field representative, Alexis Garcia Arizola, will be speaking on her behalf as well. So again, we're just excited that this project is going to kick off and looking forward to the kickoff. Oh, there's a feature I should mention, which is very different. We are going to be having a handprint ceremony. So instead of typically when you see projects like this, it's the big golden shovels. We are going to do very much like you see in Hollywood, the Hollywood Walk of Fame, where the folks that will be there, the speakers that will be there, and some of the project team members on Saturday will be having their handprints ceremony printed into the concrete as a commemoration of this finally kicking off.
Yes, thank you, Theresa. I could add just briefly to that. We have lots of very sensitive habitat in our area. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing the handprint rather than the traditional groundbreaking. The other thing we wanted to promote also is the project website. That is imjinparkway.com. This is what it looks like. I'll share my screen really briefly. At imjinparkway.com, you could find out more about the project itself, project updates in terms of traffic patterns, frequently asked questions, and you can actually send emails to the project team if you have any questions about the project. you could let us know via email through the contact. The project website is translated into 5 other languages to make sure we catch everybody in the peninsula who may have questions about the project. So please visit the project. You could see the updates regarding the kickoff ceremony. You could drive a simulation of what the project will look like at the end of it and find out more about what's happening on the project on a day-to-day basis.
Andrea, I'm so glad you shared this because I was hoping I was going to share it and you got to the button before I got to it. I'm wondering if you would click on the simulation and show people that, because that is very fun.
Sure. So here we're heading westbound or towards the ocean. And the first intersection you see here is the Preston Drive intersection. Preston Drive, there is quite a bit of grading work to be done. There's some site distance issues, a lot of utility work that needs to be relocated. So that is a very important and strategic intersection along with Abrams Drive, which houses a lot of the community from Preston and Abrams Park, along with Schoonover and the CSUMB housing. So we want to make sure that we do that intersection correctly in terms of traffic control. As we get over here to Marina Heights Drive, we have our new Sea Haven development. So we're very cognizant of making sure that the residents for Sea Haven are well taken care of, as well as Abrams Park and Preston Park. And finally, as we get to the last intersection here, Imjin Road, it is the connection point to the West Campus of CSUMB and finalizes the project scope.
And this also shows the roundabouts that are much talked about in this. And, you know, people, roundabouts, you love them, or you just get around them. But this really is going to just completely transform what people are used to when they take this commute. Am I right? Is that there's no stoplights?
That is correct. We are removing all traffic signals through this corridor from Imjin Road to Preston Park or Preston Drive. The signal at Reservation Road and Imjin will remain and actually will expand to accommodate an additional right turn lane.
And may I point out that the appeal of the roundabout is twofold. One, it's safer, right? Because when you have intersections, people tend to get T-bone and injuries occur. So they're not stopping. And then also the fact that the roundabout keeps traffic flowing, right? So you're not stopping. So it's just much more efficient and safer. And that's one of the exciting things about the roundabout. And that's why you see more of them being implemented in our county. So, and I want to just give a shout out to the city of Marina, because I think the city of Marina was in the forefront of this before it became more popular, right? Folks were the roundabouts on Reservation Road going towards Walmart. That was challenging. And so there is a learning curve that we're going to have to continue to teach people about how to drive through a roundabout. You don't stop, you yield to oncoming traffic, but if there's no traffic, you keep going. And every now and then we still see people that are confused and they might stop or they hesitate. So there will be part of the learning component. And that's something that you'll see on our website is information about how to transverse and navigate a roundabout. But that's the excitement of replacing those signals with roundabouts.
And once you get used to those roundabouts, they really are really easy. They're fun. You're right. You may yield and be safe, but you feel like you're still making progress. You're still getting where you want to go.
Absolutely. It's much more efficient, and particularly as that, you know, during the commute hours, right? You'll see that improves the flow a lot more better than it is right now.
Well, best of luck to all of you on your event, your kickoff event, and for your handprints. I can't wait to see how it all turns out, and that all those hands all over the place.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this Wednesday. Our next briefing is next week. We'll see you then.